welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. As you should have seen from the wee introduction to the video, this is a video about the Celtic FC Women side, the Celtic Girls, and so if you don't follow the Celtic Girls team, Celtic Women's team, there will be a video about the Celtic men's team, the main Celtic team, later on today, probably towards early evening, once a lot of the transfer stories, loan stories, etc. become more established and confirmed. In today's video, we're going to have a wee look at the game, analysis of the goals and how Celtic played, and also some of the stats. Was intending putting in some of edited highlights using the BBC Alba coverage, but at the moment BBC Alba haven't released their footage to make it available for taking clips and extracts, and so the full version of the game is available through BBC iPlayer, and I'm sure the Celtic official channel will be releasing a unique angle style review of the Celtic goals later on today or tomorrow. Celtic got back into league action. They currently lie in 5th in the table, but they do have 2 games in hand. And if they were to win both of those games, as would be expected, as the opposition is rooted towards the bottom of the SWPL, Celtic would then jump from 5th place up to 2nd and lie just 3 points behind Glasgow City and being ahead of our cross-city rivals, Rangers, who would lie 3rd, with Hibs and Hearts just underneath them. Celtic's next game after yesterday's game against Partick Thistle will be on Wednesday against Aberdeen, and it may be for that reason that Elena Sidiku have had a half-and-half team out for the first game after the winter break against Partick Thistle yesterday. The game was live on BBC Alba, and in the end Celtic won 4-2. At one point, just after Partick Thistle equalised, it did look rather fraught and dodgy and panicky. However, the team did get back on top in the game, and some second half substitutions made by Elena Sidiku did certainly seem to change around Celtic's fortunes and got themselves 3 goals towards the end of the second half. There were 1 or 2 wee surprises in the selection. Celtic started with a pretty standard 4-4-2. Chloe Loken was in goal. Bruna Lorenko was in central defence rather than Kelly Clark. I think that partly was due to the fact that Kelly Clark, rather than being able to go away on the training camp in Gran Canaria, had to stay at home for work commitments. So Bruna Lorenko started alongside Caitlin Hayes in central defence. Celia Barclay was playing at left back. Midfield was Amy Gallagher out wide on the right, Mathilde Carson's out wide on the left, with Shannon McGregor and Natalie Ross captaining the side in the middle, and up front were Saoirse Noonan and Morgan Cross. Morgan Cross had a wee bit of a sort of roving role, and Saoirse Noonan playing as a more conventional striker centre forward. Not too convinced that Mathilde Carson playing at left wing works terribly well. Amy Gallagher, I think, actually had a pretty good game, although she was taken off in the second half. It did look like quite often that Celia Barclay was more the player providing pace and width out left, and I think that tactic would have worked well had Mathilde Carson tracked back to cover for Celia Barclay in defence and in the left back area, except Mathilde Carson's, who doesn't have an awful lot of pace, tended to stick out wide and from time to time cutting inside to act as a second striker. Thought Celtic didn't really get hold of things in midfield. They got kind of bullied and knocked off the ball rather easily and often by the Partick Thistle players, who certainly seemed to have come for a bit of a battle, and there were quite a few rather strong challenges, I thought, from the Partick Thistle players, which the referee seemed to largely ignore. Didn't look like Caitlin Hayes is fully on her game at the moment. There has been some rumblings that her agent is angling to get Caitlin Hayes a contract at another club for next season, although that is as yet unconfirmed. And certainly this season, Caitlin Hayes does seem to have been a bit under par and a bit unsettled. Um, um, but hopefully in the second half of the season, she'll get back to her great form, where she's been one of Celtic's star players for several years and was a key factor in winning the title last year. Celtic took the lead in the 7th minute. A nice run by Emma Lawton down the right from her right back position. Lovely 1-2 with Amy Gallagher, got her in behind the Partick Thistle defence, and a very good, accurate, well weighted cutback right to Saoirse Noonan at the front post, who hit the ball perfectly past the Partick Thistle goalkeeper, putting Celtic 1-0 up. Celtic had lots of chances after that. Partick Thistle largely blocking the ball in defence and midfield, and nullifying Celtic quite effectively. Celtic had quite a few good shots at goal. Partick Thistle goalkeeper had a actually very good game on the whole, and Partick Thistle defended very well, as they usually do. So half-time score was 1-0 to Celtic. On for the start of the second half came Kelly Clark to replace Bruna Lorenko in central defence, and Celtic did look a wee bit more settled with her and Caitlin Hayes as a pair, with Lawton and Barclay flanking them. However, bit of a mix-up between Chloe Logan and Caitlin Hayes. A rather short, soft pass from Chloe Logan, the goalkeeper, out to Caitlin Hayes. Caitlin Hayes, unusually for her, was a bit dithery on the ball, seemed to be uncertain quite what to do with it, and ended up losing the ball to the Partick Thistle forward, Boyce, who cleverly chipped Chloe Logan, although I have to say I was very surprised that Chloe Logan hadn't, when she saw Caitlin Hayes starting to struggle. I was a bit surprised that Chloe Logan hadn't retreated back nearer her own goal line, as had she done so, she actually would have been able to make a pretty simple save, but instead she got caught kind of in no man's land, not near enough to block Boyce's shot, and certainly in no position to get back to save the ball near the goal line. Celtic did get back a bit more on top. Some good substitutions as the half went on. Colette Kavanagh, I think, had a good game after she came on. Maria McInerney, Jenny Smith, and Lucy Ashworth Clifford all came on at different points in the second half, and I think the 5 subs who played yesterday all were upgrades and looked better, and the team looked better once those changes and players came on. Another great run by Emma Lawton up the right-hand side, breaking into the edge of the box. Ball rebounded off of her to Saoirse Noonan, who very strongly held off the Partick Thistle defender, then spun and hit a very good shot just inside the left-hand post of the goalkeeper, putting Celtic 2-1 up. Celtic then got a third from Kelly Clark. Nice cross by Matilda Carson from a corner. Celtic managed to put pressure on the Partick Thistle goalkeeper, who missed the ball, and then the ball ended up at Kelly Clark's feet at the back post, about 6 yards out, and she smashed the ball into the net for a 3-1 lead. And then nice pass in behind by Celia Barclay gave Colette Kavanagh lots of space out on the left wing. And then a really top quality cross by Colette Kavanagh, left-footed, and Maria McInerney, very good header back across the goalkeeper into the far post, giving the goalkeeper no chance. However, late in the game, again, some rather poor defending by Caitlin Hayes, who let the Partick Thistle captain Faulkner get free at a free kick, and Faulkner had an unmarked, uncontested header, which she powered very capably past Chloe Logan. And so in the end, the game ended 4-2 rather than 4-1. And as I said, it was a wee bit surprised that Caitlin Hayes' Quality of defending wasn't quite at its usual level. She didn't really break forward terribly much into the midfield or the final third. That might simply be the tactics that Elena Sidikou had set down, but certainly she didn't look quite her usual self defensively, or her usual threat at corner kicks and direct free kicks in the opposition box. However, may well just be blowing off the winter break cobwebs, and hopefully she'll be back to her usual in the next game or two, as they do have, as I said, a game against Aberdeen on Wednesday, one of their 2 games in hand, and then a cup semi-final match against Rangers the following weekend, in 6 days' time. Looking at the stats for the game, Celtic massively on top, as one would expect from the scoreline and the usual way these games go. Celtic had 74% to 26 for Partick Thistle. Shots were 19-4 for Celtic. On targets 11-4 for Celtic. Off targets 5-0 Celtic. 2 saves by Chloe Logan in the Celtic goal. 8 saves for the Partick Thistle goalkeeper. Corners 5-0 for Celtic, and block shots. Celtic had 3 shots blocked, and no shots were blocked by the Celtic defence. So in the end, as I said, very dominant win. Probably should have been a goal or 2 more in terms of the gap. Bit of poor defending, as I was saying, and 1 or 2 chances that could have, maybe should have been taken, but certainly the Partick Thistle defence and the Partick Thistle goalkeeper both played very well to keep the score down. Star player for me, Saoirse Noonan, 2 goals. She actually looked very organised, very good up front. She linked up the play nicely. She brought in her teammates well, and did have 2 very good finishes to get the 2 goals. Emma Lawton bombed up and down the right wing from her right wing back, right full back position. Her crosses set up the first and second goals, and so lots of good marks to her. I thought Kelly Clark did improve things for Celtic in the second half, and I think some nice touches by Colette Kavanagh, Lucy Ashworth-Clifford, nice goal from Maria McInerney, and I thought Jenny Smith added quite a lot more pace up and down the right wing in front of Emma Lawton, playing a different role from how Amy Gallagher had been playing it before, and I think that did give Celtic a bit more threat down the right wing, although less ability in the more central area, which Amy Gallagher had provided earlier on. A bit disappointed, I'm afraid, as I said, in Chloe Logan's play, Natalie Ross's play, and Caitlin Hayes. Morgan Cross, for me, was a bit anonymous until she was substituted midway through the second half. Wee bit surprised to see the 3 American players, Kelsey Doherty, Murphy Agnew, and Kit Lefersky, all sitting there freezing cold with hats and coats and scarves on in the stands. It may be that they've got injury grumbles, I'm not sure. Maybe Elena Sidikou was keeping them back for the game against Aberdeen on Wednesday, so that the whole squad have had a full game prior to the Rangers match game next Sunday. We'll see how things go with the selection and line-up for the game on Wednesday against Aberdeen. That just about finishes things off for today. I will do a post-match review of the Celtic FC Women match against Aberdeen on Thursday morning, and keep you up to date with any other news, just in case Celtic do make any signings or loans in the last 2 or 3 weeks of the winter transfer window. And so until the next Celtic FC Women, the next Celtic Girls video, goodbye and hail, hail.